Have you ever wondered, thousands of years ago, before sanitary pads, before tampons, and before painkillers existed, what did women do when they got their periods? Most people have never thought about it. History tells us about kings, great wars, and enormous pyramids. But almost no one talks about the fact that for tens of thousands of years, half of the world's population has had to deal with menstruation every single month. And what is truly remarkable is that they came up with incredibly clever ways to manage it. Today, we're going to travel back in time from ancient Egypt, Greece, Rome, and China to the Middle Ages to uncover one of the least discussed secrets in human history. If there was one civilization ahead of its time in this story, it was ancient Egypt. More than 3,500 years ago, the Egyptians were already documenting gynecological issues in famous medical texts. They did not avoid the subject of menstruation. On the contrary, they studied it. Historians believe that Egyptian women used softened papyrus as a form of primitive tampon. They also used soft linen strips that could be washed and reused many times. Even more interestingly, menstruation was not considered shameful. It was associated with fertility, with the goddess Isis, and with the flooding cycle of the Nile River, the lifeblood of Egyptian civilization. While many other societies viewed menstruation as something frightening, the Egyptians saw it as a natural part of life. Greece was the birthplace of philosophy, mathematics, and science. But when it came to menstruation, they held some very strange beliefs. The famous philosopher Aristotle once claimed that menstrual blood was actually failed semen. It sounds unbelievable, but this was a view that many people accepted for centuries. According to him, a woman's body tried to produce semen just like a man's, but because it was weaker, the process failed and resulted in menstrual blood. Although these theories sound quite amusing today, Greek women still had practical solutions. They often used soft wool for absorption. Some historical records even suggest that they created primitive forms of tampons from wool and soft fabric. In other words, the idea of tampons existed thousands of years ago. If Greece got it a little wrong, Rome took things much further. The famous naturalist Pliny the Elder once wrote that a menstruating woman could spoil crops, turn wine into vinegar, drive dogs mad, cause metal to rust, even affect the weather. It sounds more like a fantasy movie than a science book. However, in real life, Roman women still had to go about their daily lives. They used soft cloth, wool, or natural sea sponges from the Mediterranean. These sponges were quite absorbent and could be reused after being cleaned. This shows that no matter how superstitious a society might be, women have always found ways to adapt. In many ancient cultures, menstruation was not just a biological matter. It was also closely tied to spiritual beliefs. Some communities believed that menstruating women possessed special spiritual powers. Others viewed them as impure. In many parts of the world, women were required to live separately in special huts during their menstrual periods. It may sound harsh, but it was not always meant as a punishment. In some indigenous tribes, this was considered a time for rest, reflection, and the restoration of energy. The same biological phenomenon was interpreted in completely different ways depending on the culture. If you think life in the Middle Ages was difficult, imagine dealing with menstruation during that time. For most poor women, there were no specialized hygiene products. Many simply relied on multiple layers of clothing or reusable pieces of cloth. Wealthier women could use soft linen cloths secured with belts worn around the waist. What is particularly interesting is that medieval physicians believed menstruation was the body's way of removing excess blood. If a period was delayed or stopped, they considered it a sign of illness. As a result, various herbal remedies were used to stimulate menstruation. Some of these herbs have actually been shown to be effective according to modern medical understanding. While many societies viewed women as an imperfect version of men, traditional Chinese medicine took a different approach. Menstruation was considered an important indicator of health. Physicians carefully observed the color, volume, and regularity of menstrual blood. Chinese women commonly used cloth pads made of cotton or silk. Some designs even featured special fabric pouches to hold absorbent materials inside. If you look closely, They were quite similar to the reusable menstrual products used today. In addition, they developed many herbal remedies to relieve menstrual cramps and regulate the menstrual cycle. In the ancient Americas, civilizations such as the Aztecs had their own methods as well. Many studies suggest that women used fibers from the maguey plant, a relative of the agave plant, as absorbent material. For the Aztecs, menstruation was not merely a biological phenomenon. It also carried spiritual significance and was closely connected to the cycles of nature. Unfortunately, much of the historical record was lost during the colonial period, causing a great deal of valuable knowledge to disappear and remain unavailable to us today. Do you think modern sanitary pads have been around for a very long time? In reality, they haven't. The first disposable sanitary pads did not appear until the late 19th century. That means that for more than 99% of human history, women had to manage with cloth, wool, sponges, leaves, and other natural materials. And they did so effectively enough to build families, work, give birth, and help create every civilization we know today. Perhaps the most remarkable thing is not what ancient women used during menstruation. It is the fact that they always found solutions, no matter how difficult the circumstances were. While many men of their time wrote strange and superstitious theories, it was women who accumulated practical knowledge over thousands of years. They passed that knowledge from mother to daughter, from one generation to the next. It is a very important part of history, yet it is rarely told. So the next time someone says that menstruation is a taboo subject, remember this: Cleopatra went through it. Roman women went through it. Medieval women went through it. And throughout tens of thousands of years of human history, they quietly found ways to manage it. It is not just biology, it is history.